Varga. I'm the last one to talk. I'm going to keep it brief. You're going to see maybe some pictures of me working with my students. I am a professor at the New York Film Academy. Darren is one of my students. He asked me to come. Ashley, thank you for having me here tonight. I'll tell you a little bit about who I am, what I do. I've been in the business about 25 years. I've done pretty much everything there is to do, from getting coffee to being a director and a producer at a very large scale. I've worked in ABC News with Peter Jennings for many years. While I was there, I won an Emmy, Peabody Award, and a DuPont Award working with him. I then moved to LA, so I experienced LA as well. And wrote commercials there, and wrote a lot of scripts, did a lot of writing, and gained a lot of experience. Moved back to New York, and eventually last year came down to Florida. I've been teaching for 8 years at the New York Film Academy. I teach acting, I teach filmmaking, and I teach writing. So everybody's been talking a lot about the technological aspects of film and about the business. I'm going to talk a little bit about something else. I'm going to talk about why do filmmakers do what they do, and how do we keep ourselves inspired, right, to get our best work out there. I knew I wanted to be a storyteller from very early on. I would spend hours in my room with my action figures. I mean, hours. And I would do plays with my friends, and then we would act out scenes, and I would have my friends repeat them when I wasn't happy the way they came out. You know, I was doing takes already. And I was like maybe 5, 6 years old. But I was just obsessed with getting it right, you know. I think I saw Star Wars maybe 65 times. The guy at the video store knew me. Back then you had to rent the videos. I had to rent the movie actually 65 times. One of the things I like to teach my students is I talk about what is classical design, the classical way in which humans tell stories. And one of the things that I teach is that on a script, basically the most basic format is a 3-act format. 3 acts. 3 pieces to a story. And the question that I always ask my students is, why 3 pieces? Why 3 pieces, guys?
Yeah, beginning, middle, and end.
Exactly, right? Beginning, middle, and an end. This is the way that human beings naturally tell a story. Now, I want you to think about that for a second. Nobody actually came and invented that. Nobody said, this is the way we're going to do it. It is just the way that we do it. It is ingrained into our DNA. It is one of the evolutionary advantages that we had, that we were able to tell stories. That's why we survived, right? We didn't have teeth, we didn't have claws, we didn't have speed, we had a brain. And that brain worked by learning. Somebody told a story, you learned it, you told the story to somebody else, you traveled, and the story traveled with you. Wow, what a tool. It's unbelievable, right? So the people that were able to absorb those stories and absorb what they learned from those stories were the ones that survived. They are our ancestors, right? The first storytellers were those people that got up in the middle of the cave, in front of the fire, and told the story to everybody else who was out there in the dark. Sound familiar, no? Right? We sit in the dark, we watch, right? This has been passed on to us. That's why we are so hungry for stories. We love watching stuff on TV, on the web. We go to the movies. We are insatiable with it because it is part of who we are. Okay? Ultimately, one thing that I like my students to understand is that we are members of a service industry. Right? We are servicing our clients, who are the public. It's our client, right? Why do we go to the movies? We go for many reasons, right? But one of the main reasons we go to the movies is to live the things that we don't get to live in our own lives, right? For 2 hours, the lights go down, and you're James Bond. And it's fantastic. Right? And you get to do over there. That's one of the reasons why the lights go dark, to give you privacy, to have that communion with the art form. Right? So you sit there and you get to enjoy it. right? Well, my students and I, we talk a lot about famous movies and profitable movies, and we talk about Titanic, right? Most profitable movie in the history of cinema. Why was it so profitable? Well, many reasons, of course, special effects, the movie stars, all this stuff, right? But listen, how many of us would love to have a love that would give their lives for us? All of us, right? How many of us do? I don't know. But it doesn't matter because I pay $20 and Leonardo DiCaprio does it for me. And he looks better.
And he gets wet. He gets
wet. Yeah.
He gets wet.
And exactly. And if I buy the DVD, I get to experience that over and over and over every time I put it on. Right? And it's fantastic. It's fantastic. So that's one of the first things that I love my students to understand is that we are members of a service industry. We are giving the public their fantasies back. Now, I went to NYU back in 1991. It's a long time ago. And back at that time, there was a new studio opening up at NYU called the Atlantic Theater Company. It was founded by David Mamet and William H. Macy and Joe Mantegna and a bunch of other people. And they put out a little book called The Practical Handbook for the Actor. Great little book, great little teaching tool. And one of the things that they teach is this. Whenever an actor is making a choice, there's some requirements for that choice. And this, I think, applies not only to acting, but it applies to writing, and it applies to filmmaking. One of the elements for making a good acting choice is that the choice that you make has to turn you on. Okay? Yeah. Has to turn you on. I write that on my board for my students. They all laugh. They go like, turn you on. What do you mean, turn you on? Exactly what you think it means. Turn you on. Why does it have to turn you on? Look, your instrument has to be activated. It doesn't work if your instrument is not activated. The audience goes to the theater to experience emotion. That emotion must be real. Now I'll ask you this. How do I know if emotion is real or not?
You feel it.
You feel it.
That's right. Absolutely right. And isn't it wonderful? We're human beings. You have the same instrument I have. My instrument vibrates with an emotion. Your instrument vibrates too. But then, for me to give you what you want, my instrument, my art, must vibrate with that emotion. It does not work if it doesn't. If it doesn't, it's dead. Right? We want it to be alive. We want the instrument to be activated. To be filmmakers, to be actors, to be writers, our days as passengers are over. We need to get on the driver's seat, accept responsibility. And that's another thing that we've been talking about here tonight, the responsibility of a filmmaker. It's complicated, right? I happen to think this, and I try to teach my students this. As artists, we do not have the responsibility, one, to fix the world, to fight fights, to fight that's not our responsibility, actually. The responsibility that we do have is to tell the truth. Whatever that truth that you see inside of you, that's what you need to reflect to the audience. Like Shakespeare said, right? Put the mirror up to life. And let the people out there make up their minds about what it is that you're saying and what it means and how it can affect their lives. Okay? But that element of being active, of having your instrument be alive, is very important. So I hear the bell. They're ringing the bell on me. So I want to leave you with a quote. It's a Mary Oliver quote from a poem that I like. And it goes like this. You do not have to be good. You do not have to crawl through the desert on your knees for 100 miles repenting. All you have to do is let the soft animal of your body do what it loves.